Welcome. This is a place for stories that remind us there's still kindness in the world. Stay with us until the end. Maybe this story will change your day. It looked like any other dusty guitar hanging in the back corner of the thrift shop. Worn wood, faded strings, a crack in the lacquered body. But something about it stopped Leo mid-step. He reached out and strummed. The sound was imperfect, slightly hollow, but warm. Like a voice with a story to tell. Leo had just started learning guitar. His parents couldn't afford anything fancy, so this $25 relic seemed like a sign. Back home, he tuned it as best he could, gently wiped off years of dust, and ran his fingers across the strings. It buzzed, yes, but it sang too. When he tilted the guitar to inspect the inside, he noticed something strange. A piece of paper stuck deep inside the sound hole. After some careful maneuvering with tweezers and a flashlight, he pulled it out. It was a handwritten note, yellowed slightly with age. If you're reading this, you're holding my dream. My name is Melody. Yes, really, I'm 14. This guitar helped me through the hardest years of my life. I wrote songs when I had no one to talk to. I always hoped someone would keep playing, so I'm leaving a piece of my dream behind, a melody I wrote myself. Maybe someday, someone will hear it. Below the words were 6 hand-drawn lines with dots, chords, lyrics, and humming rhythms. It wasn't a full song, but it felt like the beginning of something beautiful. Leo read the note again, and again. He'd never written a song before, but that night, he sat on his bed and started learning her chords, slowly plucking through the ones she'd marked. And then he added his own. One line, one verse, one late night after another. Weeks passed. The guitar still buzzed, and the body still creaked, but Leo played it like it was gold. Every strum felt like a conversation with someone he'd never met, someone who once believed music could save her. Eventually, the melody became a full song, haunting and hopeful, simple and raw. He named it The Dream Left Behind. One Saturday, a local open mic night was held in the park. Leo was terrified, but he signed up anyway. When he walked on stage with his battered guitar, people smiled politely. He introduced the song, just as Melody had, not with perfection, but with honesty. This was started by someone I never met. I just finished it. He played. The wind was soft. The world quieted, and the song, her song, finally bloomed. In the crowd, a woman in her 30s froze. Her eyes widened, tears welled up. After the performance, she approached Leo gently. "Where did you get that guitar?" Leo blinked. "Thrift store, a month ago." Her voice trembled. "My name is Melody, and I think that's mine," she explained. She'd sold it long ago when her family moved, but she'd always regretted it. She thought her note would be lost forever. "I wrote that melody the summer after my dad left," she said. "It was the only thing that helped." Leo stared at her. "Your chords, they became a full song. I just helped finish it." Melody smiled through tears. "No, you didn't finish it. You gave it a voice." They sat on a nearby bench, passing the guitar back and forth. She remembered old verses. He taught her his additions. And together, they sang the whole thing. Not perfectly, but with heart. The next week, they recorded the song and uploaded it online. It was raw and simple. Just guitar, voice, and silence between the lines. They didn't expect much, but the video spread. Fast. People commented things like, "This healed something in me I didn't know needed healing." You can feel every word. Leo and Melody kept playing together after that. Sometimes in parks, sometimes for free. Always with that same guitar. It still buzzed, still cracked, but oh, how it sang. Because some songs don't need to be perfect. They just need to be heard. No one expected Jamie to find anything interesting that morning. Just another family walk by the sea, just another game of jumping waves and collecting seashells. But as he ran ahead of his parents, barefoot in the cool sand, something caught his eye, a glass bottle wedged between the rocks. Inside was a folded piece of paper, slightly yellowed but perfectly sealed. His heart thumped. "A message in a bottle!" he shouted, lifting it high. Back at home, they carefully opened it. The note was handwritten in blue ink, in small, careful letters. "If anyone finds this, I hope you're kind. My name is Lily. I'm 11. I feel very alone. I live near this beach. I wrote this because I don't know who else to talk to. I hope someone reads this and smiles. That would be enough." Jamie's parents exchanged glances. "Poor girl," his mother whispered. "I wonder how long it's been." Jamie stared at the paper. "Can we find her?" They checked the date on the back. It was from 1999, over 20 years ago. Jamie, only 10 himself, became completely fascinated. Maybe she's still here. Maybe she still needs a smile. They posted a photo of the note online, telling the story of the bottle and the beach. They didn't expect much. But within hours, it was shared hundreds of times. People commented from all over, tagging friends, saying, "This could be my cousin Lily. Didn't we know a Lily who lived near that coast?" By the next day, they had a name. Lily Hartman. She had lived in a small blue house by the cliffs until she was 12. Then her family moved away after her parents divorced. Someone even found her on Facebook. She was now 34, living 2 towns away. Jamie's parents reached out with a gentle message. "We believe our son found something that once belonged to you." Lily responded within minutes. When Lily came to meet them, she looked quiet and thoughtful. She held the bottle like it was a piece of her childhood she never thought she'd see again. "I remember writing this," she said, voice trembling. "It was a bad year. I didn't have many friends, and home wasn't easy." Jamie looked at her. "Did it make you smile? The bottle coming back?" She laughed softly, tears in her eyes. "More than smile. It reminded me that even the smallest voice can still be heard, even decades later." Lily asked if Jamie wanted to go to the beach together. They walked along the shoreline, and this time she carried a new bottle with a new letter inside. "Dear future, someone once found my message when I needed to be heard. If you find this, know that your words, your hope, your story, they matter." She handed it to Jamie. "You throw it this time," she said. He ran to the edge of the tide and launched it as far as he could. It spun once in the sunlight and disappeared into the waves. They kept in touch. He told her about his drawings, his love for the sea, and how he now kept a little journal called Letters to the Ocean. One day, Jamie asked, "Do you think someone will find that second message?" Lily smiled. "Maybe in a week, maybe in 20 years, but one day, yes." Because kindness doesn't vanish, it just takes the long way home. I hadn't spoken to my mother in 17 years, not since that night. The argument still echoed in my head like it happened yesterday. I was 18, furious, proud, and too hurt to hear the truth behind her trembling words. I slammed the door and left home without looking back, swearing I'd never forgive her for what she said. Years passed. I built a life, a job, an apartment, relationships that came and went, but a quiet ache always lingered, the space where home should have been. I ignored birthdays. I missed her calls. Even when I saw her name flash on the screen, I silenced it. I told myself I was better off, stronger, until one rainy Thursday, I received a letter. Not an email, not a text, a real paper letter. The envelope was worn, my name written in her familiar handwriting, slightly shaky but unmistakably hers. My heart thudded. Inside was a single page, folded 3 times. "My dearest Ben, if you're reading this, I probably didn't have the courage to send it. Or maybe I'm not there anymore to say these things out loud. I know you haven't wanted to hear from me. I know I failed you in ways I can never undo. But I need you to know something I never told you. I didn't say those things because I stopped loving you. I said them because I was scared. scared of losing the only person I had left after your father died. You were hurting, and I didn't know how to reach you, so I shouted, and I pushed, and I drove you away. I think I've regretted that moment every day since. I still keep your drawing of the tree, the one you made when you were 6, above the kitchen table. I look at it when I need to remember the parts of us that were soft. Ben, I love you. Always have. Always will. Love, Mom. I must have read it 10 times, the paper trembling in my hands. I didn't realize I was crying until the ink started to blur. The page smelled faintly of cinnamon, like her kitchen, like home. And then panic hit me. Why now? Why send this? Was she sick? Was she gone? I grabbed my keys without thinking. The house hadn't changed much. Paint peeling, same old wind chimes on the porch, same welcome mat with the faded sunflowers. I stood there longer than I should have, afraid, ashamed. Then the door creaked open. She stood there, older, smaller than I remembered, eyes wide, hand to her chest. Ben? I couldn't speak, just nodded. She stepped forward. Did you get the letter? I opened my mouth, but nothing came. My throat burned. All I could do was nod again. And then she hugged me. It wasn't dramatic. No music, no slow-motion tears. Just arms, warm and shaking, wrapping around me like they'd been waiting years to do so. We stood like that for a long time. When we finally pulled apart, she said, I wrote that letter 5 years ago. I left it in the drawer. I didn't think I'd ever send it. But something told me last week, maybe it's time. I smiled through tears. It was. We sat in the kitchen, under the drawing of the tree. The colors had faded, but the roots still held strong. So did we. It was a quiet Monday morning when Sarah noticed the dog. She was walking home from her night shift at the hospital, the sky still heavy with gray clouds, when she spotted him, a golden retriever, sitting alone on a park bench, completely still. No leash, no tags jingling. Just the dog and something else. He wasn't lost, not exactly. He looked like he knew where he was. His coat was brushed, his posture calm. As Sarah stepped closer, she noticed a folded piece of paper tucked beneath his collar. Curious and cautious, she gently slid it out. It was slightly damp from the morning mist, but the handwriting was clear. His name is Charlie. Please take care of him. I can't anymore, but he deserves love and safety. He's the kindest soul I've ever known. Ben. Sarah blinked, reading it again. Her heart ached at the message. She looked down at the dog, Charlie, who stared back at her with warm, patient eyes, like he understood exactly what was happening. He didn't bark, he didn't run. He just stood up, walked over, and leaned against her legs, like they'd always known each other. Sarah hadn't planned to take in a dog. She lived alone in a small apartment, worked long shifts, and barely had time for herself. But something about Charlie felt different, like he had been sent to her at the exact moment she needed him most. That first night, he curled up quietly at the foot of her bed. No whining, no restlessness, just presence. Steady, comforting. Every morning after that, he'd walk her to the door and wait for her return. Every evening, he'd greet her as if she'd been gone for years. His love was effortless, constant. Still, Sarah often caught him sitting by the window, staring out at the street. She knew what he was waiting for. One evening, as rain tapped gently on the glass, she sat down beside him and whispered, "Do you miss him, Charlie? Do you miss Ben?" The dog didn't move, but his eyes softened. That was enough. The next morning, Sarah made a decision. She pulled out a small notepad and wrote, "Charlie is safe. He's happy. I don't know what led you to let him go, Ben, but I want you to know he's home now, and I'm so thankful, Sarah." She folded the note and gently placed it under Charlie's collar, right where the first message had been. She didn't know if Ben would ever see it, but something about the gesture felt healing, like sending hope back into the world. Months passed. Charlie brought joy into Sarah's life in ways she hadn't expected. He became her shadow, her walking companion, her reason to smile after hard days. He made friends at the local cafe and slept curled up beside her as she read at night. And slowly, Sarah realized something important. Charlie hadn't just needed saving. So had she. Then one afternoon, she found a small envelope in her mailbox. No name, no address. Inside, there was a single photo. Charlie, as a puppy, asleep in the lap of a young man. Tucked behind it, a note. "Thank you for giving him a new beginning, Ben." Sarah stood motionless for a moment, holding the photo to her chest. Her eyes welled with tears, not of sadness, but gratitude. That night, she sat beside Charlie and whispered, "You weren't abandoned, you were entrusted, and I'll keep that promise." Charlie wagged his tail softly and laid his head in her lap. And in that quiet, glowing room, two hearts, one human, one canine, beat in perfect rhythm.